breaking news. We can confirm that Sanford owns one of the infected oyster farms, Big Glory Bay, Stewart Island. Joining us now is Sanford's Chief Operations Officer, Greg Johansson. Thanks, Greg, for joining us. We really appreciate it. Are you there?
Yeah, good evening, John.
Good evening. We just heard Jeff talking about stakeholders. You're one of them, aren't you?
Correct.
And so have you been talking to MPI today?
We're keeping in touch with them and following all their instructions.
Okay, what are their instructions? I'm a bit confused about what they are.
Well, when the notice came out, it was immediate stop of all movements of shellfish and equipment associated with the shellfish business, and we've done that from day one, and we're waiting for further instructions.
Can you clarify when day one was?
Wednesday about 4 p.m. last week.
Okay, so what's today, Wednesday, isn't it? So a week ago, exactly a week ago.
Yep.
Okay, and that was the first you heard of the parasite on Stewart Island?
We had heard that there was an initial test had turned up a positive, which was going for a second test. I think they have to do a second backup test to confirm that's not a false positive. But the confirmation came through last Wednesday.
Okay, so this is catastrophic for you guys, isn't it?
Well, we're the second largest shareholder, a quota owner in the wild oyster fishery, so we're obviously very concerned that we don't do anything that might endanger that stock.
Okay, now forgive my total ignorance. So you farm at Stewart Island and you have quota in Foveaux Strait?
We have both, yeah. We have a joint venture farming, just a start-up operation in Stewart Island, and we're a major quota owner in the wild fishery as well in Foveaux Strait. Okay, so how is it best to protect the wild fishery in Foveaux Strait, do you think? Well, we're waiting for direction from the science. I mean, we're under instructions not to touch anything, not to move anything until further instructions. So we don't want to make the situation worse by taking an action or an inaction which may endanger the wild species.
And if MPI come back to you and say, hey, look, we're terribly sorry about this, but lift those oysters up in Big Glory Bay, you farmed oysters, you would be prepared to do that?
Immediately, or under their protocol, and we need clear directions too about how to handle them. What do we do with them? How do we dispose them, etc.
Okay, but immediately is the key answer. So you would absolutely be prepared to do that under the rules of governance that MPI would give you? Correct,
no problem.
What's the extent of your financial exposure should that happen? Are you insured against such incidents?
We're not insured against the crop and the water. I think there might be some compensation provisions under the biosecurity regulations for this, but I don't know for sure. It's not a huge business for us at this stage. It's very much a start-up business. Obviously, it has huge potential for the future, but right now it's a start-up business.
I'm just coming to grips, and I suspect lots of North Islanders are, and I apologise to people in the south, but Big Glory Bay, if I remember correctly, is on the northeast side of Stewart Island, is that right?
Correct.
Okay, and Foveaux Strait, so Foveaux Strait comes through from the southwest running towards Big Glory Bay, doesn't it?
Well, it runs across the top, in between the island and the mainland. So yeah, there's a lot of current running through there. It's a pretty rough bit of water.
Okay, so there is a real risk, isn't there, of the parasite spreading?
Well, the issue is we don't know where the parasite is today. It's been found in 2 locations. We're not sure how it got there or where else it may be. Obviously, there's testing continuing, and we'll wait for further results in due course.
Okay, now I'm not implicitly casting any aspersions here, and I'm not asking you a question that hints that I believe something. This is an informational interview, but the same parasite's been found in Marlborough, right? And where did your oyster stock come from?
Well, our spat came out of the wild fishery in Foveaux Strait itself.
Okay, so it's not been imported from Marlborough, you don't think?
To the best of our knowledge, no. There was a prohibition notice put in place back in 2015 when it was found up there, so...
Okay, and there's been no... Okay, absolutely, so you're clear on that. What happens now? I mean, what do you guys need, both as a farmer in Stewart Island and more importantly, I think, and forgive me for being glib about that as a wild fisher in Foveaux Strait, what do you need from MPI and how quickly do you need it?
Well, we just need a clear and precise process to go through from here so that we do the right thing. The worst thing would be to do, and by way of a clean-up, actually make the situation worse. So we are waiting for guidance, we are waiting for instructions, and we will follow them when we receive them.
Greg Johansson, who's Sanford's Chief Operations Officer, thanks so much for joining us, Greg. We really appreciate your time.